On guard, swashbucklers! Welcome to Friends of the Pod, here on the Glass Cannon Network, where friends come together and play tabletop role-playing games. And today, we have a really special presentation for you. We are going to do a play test of the new 3rd edition rules, the 3rd edition quick start booklet of 7th Sea. 7th Sea is a swashbuckling game in a land of sorcery. Think Three Musketeers. Think The Princess Bride.
Nice.
Think, the Renaissance, Age of Sail, Pirates of the Caribbean. And I have 4 pirates with me that are going to swash my buckle. And today's adventure actually has nothing to do with pirates. I don't want to confuse anyone. But you can play pirates in the 7th Sea system. That it supports that. There are sailing skills and things like that. Anyway, with me I have Joe O'Brien, Sydney Amanuel, Jason Charles Miller, and Mary Lou. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Hi, Jared.
So happy to have this killer cast, and I'm Jared Logan. I don't know if I mentioned that.
I feel like you didn't. I feel like you dropped that key detail.
It's not important.
Yeah.
It's not important.
This playtest is run by the man, the myth, the legend, Jared Logan.
Logan! Yeah. I should disappear into the background and simply become the world of Thea.
That's beautiful.
Well said.
I know this adventure doesn't have anything to do with pirates, but can I tell you guys my favorite joke? Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
You mean of all jokes of all time, not just your favorite pirate joke? Okay.
Mm-hmm. What's a pirate's favorite letter? R. You would think so, but it's actually the C.
The sea. Oh, okay. Wow. Geez.
Again, we're not playing a pirate game, but
yes,
very
it's
good
not a pirate game. You could use it to play a pirate game. It's set in sort of a fictional 1500s, 1600s, during an age of sail for a world called Thea. But there is magic. There's conspiracy. There's a lot of swashbuckling, and it's coming to us from some folks at Studio Agate, is their name, and they are currently kickstarting the new 3rd edition of the game. The Kickstarter's already funded, but you can check it out in the link down in the area directly below
the description.
I'm sitting on it, and we're going to have a good time. I promise Mary Lou's not going to tell any more of those jokes.
I can't.
That's done
that.
now.
No.
I want to hear way more. So
Although
I'm just going to tell that joke 6 more times.
I'm gonna show
time
this
you
to
guys
my
have to actually
6-year-old, and she'll love it. She'll love it.
Yeah, because
I was just thinking about how I'm going to do that joke for my kids right after this session.
Kids
That's
love
right.
it.
It's a great joke,
Adults
great
love
kid
it.
joke.
Everybody loves it.
Kids love it, but I want to maintain that 7th Sea is a game for adults.
Quite.
But I am.
And that sounds like there's sex in it. There's no sex in it.
Oh man.
There's no sex. At least not today. You know what? You do what you want with the game. We're going to keep it PG-13. Okay? So we'll be right back with an exciting, swashbuckling PG-13 experience. This is Friends of the Pod on the Glass Cannon Network. Go and look at commercials.
Natural f***ing 20.
Skid said he was playing Babe Ruth, I knew it was going to be a good night.
Okay, welcome back. Hey, we just want to thank Studio Agate. They sponsored this show today. Studio Agate, thank you for sponsoring the Glass Cannon, letting us come together and play games. And if you'd like to support Studio Agate, go to that Kickstarter and help to fund this game. I love 7th Sea. I have a history with 7th Sea. I've played it a bunch of times. I played some 2nd edition. I think I had some 1st edition books, but I was so young that, back when you're like in middle school or high school, sometimes you can't get people to play all the games you want to play. But I read them cover to cover, and I really love the world, which is based on Europe in the 1500s or 1600s. So each of our characters has sort of a nationality, a sort of a country of origin. And those places have cultures, and they even have their own specific styles of magic, which is really, really cool. We have so many rules that we're going to be playtesting today. This version of the game, I think, kind of harkens back a little bit more to 1st edition. 2nd edition was very narrativist, right? It was very much like a communal storytelling in a way, almost. This kind of goes back to the original system, which was a roll and keep system. So for our viewers, listeners, the situation is that our characters will have traits and skills rated in dots, kind of like in the World of Darkness system, and you combine that trait and that skill, and you roll a pool of dice. What's a little different about 7th Sea is your skill also determines which dice you can keep. If you have a higher skill, you can keep like 6 and above. 6 and above count as successes. If
On
you
a
have,
D10, let's be clear.
On a D10. If you have a smaller skill, a lesser skill, then you might only be able to keep 8 and above or 9 and above or something like that as a success. So that's a little bit of how that works. There's also something called hero points. Every skill roll you make has a difficulty. If you exceed that difficulty, if you get more successes, if you keep more D10s than the difficulty, each of those turns into hero points. And I want my players to know what the hero points can do right now, okay? So You can always spend a hero point to give yourself +1 D10 on a roll. You can give an ally +3 D10 on a roll if you're assisting them using a hero point. That's called teamwork. You all have advantages on your character sheet. These are kind of your special powers, abilities, feats. In some systems, they call them feats. Those sometimes require a hero point to activate them. You can spend a hero point to increase your damage by 1. That might not sound like a lot if you're a Pathfinder player or something like that, but in 7th Sea, +1 damage, that's a lot more. It's a lot more, because you're usually dealing like 1 damage each time you hit with something. And you can, if you're taken out of action, like you've taken all of your dramatic wounds and you've gone down, you can spend a hero point to keep acting. And you have to spend one every round to keep your character going on past death. And then finally, my favorite, you can spend 5 hero points at once to perform a legendary feat.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Somebody better do one today.
They better.
Yeah.
You also all have specialties beside your different skills. I just want to read some of the different skills so the listeners get an idea of what kind of skills are in this game that you might not find in a lot of other games. Because I do like the skill list here. Of course, there's stuff like investigation, stealth, and theft. That's stuff we see in other games. But here we have a skill, sailing. We have a skill called strategy. There's a skill called theology, sorcery, legends. I love that there's an aim skill just used for shooting. There's engineering, humanities, science, self-control.
I love that humanities is a skill.
I love self-control.
I mean,
self-control.
Self-control and intrigue.
A humanities degree is useful. Okay.
She said desperately.
Yeah, with a humanities degree, you could get a job playing tabletop role-playing games on an online network.
Look at us.
Yeah, I'm living the dream. I'm playing pretend with my friends for money. It's awesome.
It's true. That is true. And yeah, I'll just mention again, intrigue. So, this is a game of not only swashbuckling, spending those hero points to do amazing feats of daring do, but also, there's a lot of intrigue There's a lot of politicking. There's a lot of conspiracy in this game. In fact, all of your characters usually also belong, not only having a country of origin, they also have a secret society that they belong to usually. Usually all of the characters in a party might belong to the same secret society, which explains why they're all working together.
Got it.
Okay.
I like ours.
Is the
like the name ours.
secret society, do you know, you may not know this, but is the secret society in general like kind of the name of the party? Or is the secret society meant to be larger than the party? And you're
It's
just one
larger
small
than the
part?
party.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
But all secret societies, they say that they're not a secret society.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're not a cult.
We're not a secret society. We're a society with secrets.
There you go. Important distinction.
Yeah.
Well, yes. And, I don't think anybody in the world would know outright that the society you belong to exists.
Even exists. Okay.
Except for members, right? But as players, we all realize it exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we should dive in.
Oh my god.
And we'll learn about the characters as we dive in. There are a lot of different other rules here. For example, at some point when we get into wounds, we'll talk about wounds, like when you take damage and how that affects your character, because it actually, in some ways, can benefit your character. It makes everything a little bit more swingy and dramatic. But for now, let us begin today's adventure. Death to the king. What? You have all been invited to a royal reception at San Cristobal, the great reception hall of the royal palace of Castile. This grand hall has not been used for 15 years, since the death of the last monarch in 1663. Now the good King Amadeo Sandoval gathers his court, and you among them. But why? Something is afoot, for the reception was announced only a week ago, and tensions within the court between the king, the Concilio de Raison, which is like the High Council, and the Vatican Church have reached a breaking point. The Vatican Church, of course, is Fantasy Catholic Church.
Of course.
As members of the secret society Los Vagabundos.
I love our name.
Los Vagabundos.
Los Vagabundos.
I love it.
You have been sent to determine what's really going on and report back to the society. Above all, you must protect King Sandoval and his wife, Queen Isabella, holy daughter of Castile, with your lives. For such is the sworn vow of Los Vagabundos.
Los Vagabundos!
All right. Now, we're going to introduce our cast here, their characters. And I want to make sure that all of our cast has begun to assign their combat aptitudes. One of the coolest things about 7th C is that your combat aptitudes, attack, defense, toughness, movement, and there's one other. Those combat aptitudes can change from session to session. You can move different traits into them, and you'll have kind of a different fight every time. So each of our characters needs to make sure that they are assigning those combat aptitudes. And then I'm going to introduce our cast. Can Mary Lou tell me about Manuela de Oliveira de la Cruz?
Manuela de Oliveira de la Cruz is a cursed heir. She is from a very noble family, but her father was a villain, and he betrayed the good king. And so my name is cursed, Manuela. And when she's very upset, her Castilian accent comes out.
Jared didn't like
Sorry.
it.
I like it. I know. I loved it.
You were giving a little funky face. You were like,
Because he was so impressed by
That's
my
right.
incredible change. But yes, she's an officer, so she's been trained. She's got an education. She really reminds me of the character in Black Tongue Thief, and then later the prequel,
Good
The Daughter's
comp.
War.
Yes.
Yes. What's
I
her
am
name?
perfect. What is her name?
Starts with an S. She has like a the badass one, the warrior one,
Yes.
who's got the tattoos
Paladin.
and stuff.
Oh no, the badass one, the assassin.
Yeah.
one. That
Yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah.
It starts with an S. It's like a short name. Sparta.
Someone look it up while
Yeah,
that's
I'm Googling it.
But
You
she's
talk,
the very
you talk.
cool,
I'll Google.
very cool character who can make a giant crow kind of come out of a tattoo.
Galva.
Oh, I was way
She's
off.
Spanth. Well, she's Spanth.
Oh,
She's
Spanth is
Spanth?
what I was thinking.
She's a
So
Spanth
Spanth in that
Spanth.
world is Castilian
Castile.
in the world of Thea, the world of Seventh Sea.
So fun.
She's very much like Galva. She's like very, she's noble, she's high class, she's very educated, she's very trained, she's good in battle, but she's less good at combat than she is at strategy and leadership and command. She's an officer, and she is absolutely dedicated to keeping good King Sandoval and his beautiful queen safe as a way to prove to the world and herself that her traitor's name doesn't define who she is.
Very good.
Nice.
Already
What
I
does she
feel the
look
drama
like?
building.
She looks like Galva from Black Tongue Thief.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
I think actually no. I think she's probably taller. Maybe she's stocky, strong, with hard features, olive skin, dark hair pulled back into a low ponytail, and tattoos of two giant crows on her chest. Just kidding.
No, that's great. I mean,
well,
I
you'll
think
never see them because we're not having sex in this, I guess.
Sorry.
Boring.
Not
Nor are we
really.
taking baths. All right, Joe.
So you'll
tell us
never know if
about
she has tattoos.
Hugh de la Chapelle Montmoreau.
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 Very excited. I was thinking about pronouncing his name perhaps in the correct French, which I think would be Hugues. It's Hugues. I think it's Hugues.
Hugh. Or Hugh.
Hugues de la Chapelle Montmoreau. He's a politician, a diplomat from the lands of Montaigne, which I believe is a sort of French analog. He is a politician. His archetype is schemer. So he is all about sort of the intrigue.
Schemer.
Intrigue is his best skill, and his best trait, by far, with a 4 out of 4, for what I could tell, is panache. So he's got a lot of style, a lot of he attracts people. He knows how to sort of work a room, but he is from a nation that many do not like. Montaigne is a bit of a fraying relationship, I believe, in my brief reading with Castile. And so he tries to play the friendly face and be kind of a diplomat and keep things peaceful. And that's truly what he wants. That's why he's a member of Los Vagabundos. He wants to see the king of Castile protected even from his own mad king.
That's right. And there has been a
Fascinating
war
story.
on with Montaigne for many years now. And they call it the Grey War because it constantly goes into ceasefire, periods of inactivity, and then it fires up again. So most recently, Hugues has helped to broker a ceasefire between Castile and Montaigne, but that peace is fragile, and it seems like it could
Exactly,
be
very
shattered at
fragile.
any opportunity.
Imagine him. I imagine him as what a Russian diplomat might have been at the height of the Cold War, who was trying to keep everything, who was very likable, worked in DC, right? But like the nations are in a very tense position. I think he's probably 50s-ish in age, short hair, clean shaven, and I imagine him wearing a frilly shirt, of course, and like one of those capes over one arm. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of goes down one arm. And he's very tall and charismatic.
Very good. And then I'd like for Jason to tell me about Hans Mueller.
Yes, well, my name is Hans Mueller. I am from Eisen. And I am currently working as a bodyguard for Hugh de la Chapelle. I believe I'm your bodyguard, sir.
That's so awesome.
Well,
What?
perfect. Yes, I only hire the strongest and the best, of course.
I am a soldier, but strangely, my archetype is idealist. Which makes me
Big
think
softy.
that I am a soldier who always believes he will win every fight. That's how I'm going to apply it.
I love that.
And I cannot keep up this accent for long.
You're doing so good. It's
You
so
are doing
good.
a fantastic.
It's really good.
Okay. In theory,
Like
we're all speaking Castilian, so, you know.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
German accent often switches to Russian very quickly, so I'm going to try it.
You know
Again,
what?
you know what?
So
We're
does
in
my
Thea.
French somehow. Yeah.
We're
My
in
Spanish
Thea, not
goes
in Europe.
French.
Okay,
Right,
fair,
may-
right.
maybe-
Any
maybe-
accent can go anywhere.
Maybe any accent can go anywhere, although there is a Russian analog in 7th Sea called Usara. And there's also a Polish analog and
cool.
and all of these different countries. There's a Greece analog, but yes, please go on and tell us a little bit more about Hans.
Yes, so Hans, he's the basically the Secret Service. Like he's got that kind of training. He's going to be the one that's going to analyze the situation and see where the weaknesses are and where the strengths are, and he's a tactician. So I think that his skills in combat are going to be his skills in combat are going to be what helps the group win or lose. So his sort of a way of getting out in front and being a part of all the physical action is where Hans is going to excel.
Very
He's
good.
a tank, but smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I've done too, and I don't know if we're going to get to this later, is his traits are rather balanced. He has 2s and 3s. So I thought I would make his attack brawn, which is a 3, but his damage is a 2 with finesse. So that he'll always get those hits in. They might not always be big hits, but he has the best chance of getting a hit in no matter what.
It's a really interesting mechanic that I think we'll talk about later. But
Yeah.
it's very cool.
Yeah.
Like you can choose how to split out
Right.
your effectiveness in attack, damage, defense, movement, all that kind of stuff. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Right.
So I could choose to maybe not hit as many times, but the hits would be more damage, or I could choose to hit more and have less damage.
Yeah.
So
You can choose
I
that.
did.
It's very cool.
I did pretty much the exact opposite as you, because I have 2s and 3s. I'm pretty well rounded. Manuela is, and so I chose to put attack at 2, but damage at 3 because she's a gun specialist, right? Like she's
There
a
you go.
firearms specialist, so she's less likely to hit. But if she does, it's way
You're
more
dead.
damage.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's cool how you can conceptualize the traits that way and like make it character motivated. It's cool.
Yeah.
And you can rearrange those. It gives you the option to rearrange those each time. So I think that's such a cool, different kind of mechanic. Finally,
different.
Sydney, tell us about Veronica Cardinal.
I'm excited for
Yes.
Veronica.
Veronica Cardinale, she has multiple languages, so her accent is
How
going
you
to
say?
change. She's Vodaci and Castilian and Samaritan. So it's a Polish, Lithuanian, Spanish, and also Italian.
Polish, a Lithuanian.
This accent is going to
love her. I love
this,
her.
this accent surely will become less intense as the game goes on.
No,
it's
don't
beautiful.
say that.
She is.
I love
her
listening to it.
Her archetype is a conspirator. So basically, Veronica from a young age learned she had sorta strega, the magic, the sorcery of Thea. But she had to hide it because being a fate witch is not so good. So she hid it, she got married, and the guy died, very sad. But she, with her money now, she want to fight the good fight. She wants to help the Los Vagabundos and take down the rich by using their secrets against them. And she looks pious. I mean, she has, I had to look up the word for it, a trenzale, which is like the metal kind of beautiful cap that you braid through a braid in like Italian Renaissance with like dangly stuff off it on the sides. She wears like a square neck dress. She doesn't look overtly wealthy, but she doesn't look like a nun. She kind of blends in, like she can blend into any...
The pious widow.
The pious widow. Nobody questions her, which is what it says in her sort of background. It says, she inherited a perfect cover, a respectable woman who travels to defend her family's commercial interests. So she's beautiful, but not too beautiful. She's polite, but not too polite. She just blends in, and that's her whole thing. And we'll get into her sorte strega, which is the magic of the world. She's like a spellcaster. But you have to keep it a secret because if people see her doing spellcasting, that's bad. It's like she shouldn't be known that she knows how to do this.
The Vatican Church, and in particular the Inquisition, would hunt her down if they knew that she was a sorte strega. And in fact, it is Veronica's mission from Los Vagabundos to figure out right now in Castile which faction of the church is truly in control. Is it the Hierophant, who is sort of the Pope, whose name is Verdugo, or is it the Inquisition of Melendres, who really has the upper hand in Castile right now? She needs to determine that without drawing attention to herself. I'll just make one other note. Sorte strega is just one type of magic that you can play in 7th C. Each culture has its own magical tradition. The magical tradition of Vodacci is sorte strega, but there are many other types of sorcery in 7th C, depending on your culture of origin. So, I'm glad we're going to see some of it today.
I just want to mention one overall thing here, that when I was first talking with Studio Agate about doing this project, they were pretty adamant about the rule changes not impacting the lore, that the lore was sort of staying, and they were maybe advancing the world setting a few years, but that the world itself was staying true to, you know, what fans really liked. Because the 3rd edition is community built. It's like built with the community all along the way, giving feedback on all this. And now we've gotten to a printed playtestable spot, and it still may change, as a result of the feedback of the community. But it's very interesting to me hearing, as you guys are all fleshing this out, I'm like, I had no idea how deep the lore is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is awesome, and I'm very glad they're keeping it. Because at the time they were talking about keeping it, I was okay, good. Like, I wasn't familiar with it. I didn't play a lot of 7th C, and now hearing it, I'm like, this is awesome. Seems like a very fun world to explore.
When we get to the magic too, I'm so curious now about the other magic types, but when we get to the magic, I'll reveal with Jared like how the magic works, because I have a prop that I think fits so well with this time period and stuff, so it's actually perfect, but we'll get to that.
That's awesome. Save it!
Great. So why don't we begin?
Yes.
Now, I want to note that your characters would know each other by sight as members of Los Vagabundos, but you do not arrive at the reception together. You would sort of spy each other, maybe clock each other, maybe an almost imperceptible eyebrow raise or head nod as you spy each other entering the reception. And at the great oaken door of San Cristobal, as you enter, there are footmen and valets ready to take your weapons. You will need to turn over your weapons if you're going to come to a royal reception. Of course. So you enter, and everything is beautifully decorated for a grand reception with kind of like cloth of gold strung about this sort of large foyer, and there are of course antechambers over to the side, where there are footmen ready to take your weaponry, and yes. Oh, Hans is kind of saying no.
Protocol allows each ambassador to bring one armed man. I am allowed
exactly as
to carry this weapon.
Has said.
I am his bodyguard.
Very good. Then I guess we better make a protocol roll since you're invoking protocol, which is one of these skills.
Great. More than happy to.
Here's what I'll do. Because you're just dealing with some lowly footman, I will say that it is only a difficulty 1 roll. So you are going to roll what trait do you think you would add to your protocol skill?
I would argue for resolve because I'm resolved that this is the rule.
I 100% agree. I think that's a great one. So you're going to roll a pool of 3 dice, but it looks like Hans only gets a success on an 8 or above.
All right. Come on, Hans. I did get an 8 and a 9. An 8, a 9, and a 2. So I got 2 successes, right?
Well then, Hans, not only do you succeed, the footmen are terrified of you and immediately back away and say, "Of course, sir. Forgive us, yes."
Remember the rules next time.
And you also, because you got a success over what you needed, you earn a hero point. Everybody has started with 1 hero point. Now Hans has 2, and he will need them.
Okay.
Because let us not forget, today's adventure is entitled Death to the King.
Death to the king!
Very
Now,
good.
that being said, what I do have is I have a Drakensian dagger, which is a masterwork weapon, and it's a blade.
Yes.
So that is what I will be having. I will be brandishing that at my side.
Yes. I just want to read this because it's so freaking cool. The Drakensian dagger. You own a masterwork weapon, a Drakensian blade, forged by one of the last Nibelungen. You gain 2 additional dice on any roll where you use it. So in 7th C, equipment doesn't matter really unless you take it as an advantage and you get masterwork equipment.
Right.
So, and I love that also Hans as a bodyguard is a knife fighter.
Gotta get in there. Gotta
right in the
in
neck.
close.
Close range. Yeah.
Can I also say at the same time that Hugues de la Champagne de Mont is gladly hands over his rapier that he keeps at his side, and but I would like to sneak a knife in. So he has a knife that he would like to sneak in, and so he makes a show of like, oh, of course, by all means, my God will protect me while I'm in there, I'm sure, and I do not expect any trouble.
Well, I kind of really like the move you just described of like, just showing the sword
Making
and
a big show
having
of
the knife
passing it over.
concealed. Yeah. So I'm not going to require a roll for that. I think that's smart. So you get a knife in. Now, Veronica and Manuela, they can choose whether to give their weapons over or if they want to make some sort of attempt to keep them.
I think
Manuela?
Manuela looks at the footman, the soldier, and goes, "Stand down, soldier. Thank you." And we'll just keep walking. She's an officer.
So
Jared
tense.
looks scared.
I am. I'm trying to decide what the footman's move is in that case.
Is she wearing like officer's garb? Like would
So she's come, this is a reception. So she is in military dress. She's got those poofy shoulder sleeves and like crimson silk with like gold slashing and just gleaming silver, steel breastplate and skirt over her like leggings and hose and boots, those small leather boots, and a saber, a like beautiful gleaming saber, and a firearm, a handgun on her waist, just slicked hair.
You hear a voice behind you. This is a woman's voice. Say, "De Oliveira. Excuse me. Stop." And you turn and you're looking at the head of the palace guard, Capitan Elena Alvarado. And she says to you,
Capitan,
We do not let a de Oliveira de la Cruz carry weapons into a reception for the Sandovals. We know your father. Hand over your weapons.
I am not my father. But if it makes you comfortable, sure, you can have my weapons. And she'll take off her gun, hand it. She'll unbelt her saber, hand it, say, I am a de Oliveira de la Cruz, so I am just as dangerous with or without my weapons.
Elena, Capitan Elena takes your belt with your gun and takes your saber and hands them off to one of her palace guard and says, yes, I know. That's why I'll be keeping an eye on you. She is
Good. That is why I dressed up. I look nice.
Yes. She's a very severe young woman, all full military regalia, and says and nods at you as if you hadn't made a bon mot or a jibe, and then marches away with her palace guard.
Ooh, yeah, okay. Manuela is like trying to seem cool, but she's so fucking pissed. Like second one to be reminded of your evil traitor dad. Whew. Okay, so yeah, she's walking
I was
in.
just furiously reading your background where it says that your father probably played a role in the death of the last king.
Oh, yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, which is why I gave up so quickly, because like that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. It might be pretty reasonable.
To be like, yeah, you don't get any weapons.
It could have been more sensitive about it. She could have been more delicate about it, but...
No.
All right, finally, Veronica Cardinal, you enter the reception, and they ask for your weapons.
When they ask for her weapons, she crosses herself, and she says, I certainly hope that nobody would bring a weapons to something so special. I have nothing on me.
Okay, and they look at each other, and they're looking at a pious widow, is what you've described Veronica as. And of course, you don't have any obvious weapons, and of course, it would be laughable for a person like this to carry weapons. So they say, thank you, madame. And you are allowed to enter the reception.
Before she walks through, she would like to ask, is the Hierophant here yet?
A very good question. So one of the kind of heads of the footmen, like a higher ranking servant, comes forward and says, the Hierophant will not be attending this evening. Word is that he has taken ill.
Oh, ay Dios mío. She crosses herself again. May the Lord look down on him. Grazie mille, gracias. And she moves through quickly. Can I roll, like, intrigues or something to try to... I don't know what I would roll to figure out if they're telling the truth.
Intrigues is a great choice, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Veronica, you are very skilled at reading people. You can read the strands of fate, in fact. So I'm going to tell you that the servant is definitely, as far as he knows, telling you the truth.
Okay.
Now, there are other people you meet who I think you'll need to roll to figure out their motivations and their lies. But in
Cunning
this case,
players.
Yes.
I think I saw Manuela kind of have that altercation, so I think once we're in the party, maybe she'll find her way to Manuela just to be on her side in case something happened. Like, there's already been sort of a problem. So she'll keep an eye on her and move closer to her.
Excellent. So you're kind of orbiting Manuela a little bit, and you all enter San Cristobal. The hall is absolutely immense. Hans, you immediately clock how difficult it will be to maintain security here. There is a vaulted ceiling and a colonnade on each side. Staircases within the colonnade lead up to a balcony that circles the entire hall above it. You can look down on the hall below. And there are antechambers for guests, servants, and guards all along the walls on both levels. On one end of the hall is the great oaken door you have entered through and the sort of foyer that you came through. And on the other end is a dais holding the thrones of King Sandoval and Queen Isabella. Before them are seats, areas to lounge, tables for 100 of the most important people in the nation of Castile. And immediately you see a crowd has gathered around the king and the queen. They are not currently seated in their thrones. They are standing before their dais, and they are receiving people and speaking to, the members of their court who have come. You all may disperse through the party, look for people you might want to talk to, converse with, follow your individual goals in whatever way that you wish. And there are many different luminaries here. There may be some questions you have. You may want to kind of look at the security measures if you're Hans. It's totally up to you. So let me know what you'd like to do.
Manuela is going to grab a goblet of wine from a passing serving tray and head upstairs to the balcony.
Very good. Yes, arriving there, you can see how all the most important people in your nation are kind of standing down there below you, and you can pick them out one by one. You see the Cardinal Catalina de Armas, sort of second in command to the Hierophant. You can see Doña Penelope de Aldoña. She is one of the grandees, a rich, elegant, moneyed person here in Castile. You can see Don Hernando de Quesada. He is a scholar and a member of the Concilio de Raison, right? The kind of high council that helps the king to govern Castile. But at this point, I would love for you to make an intrigue roll about one of those people I mentioned. Or you could use some other skill that would let you know about the politics of the situation.
I would like to roll, I think, on the Cardinale. Because Manuela is a devout, what would you call the
Vaticine Church. Yes.
The Vaticine Church. She's a devout of the religion, but she's very critical of the church. And she sees certain factions in it as being like fanatical and corrupt and doesn't have the king and queen's best interest at heart. So I think she's noticing that the Cardinal is here, but not the Hierophant. So I'd like to make an intrigue intrigue roll about the Cardinal. And you know what? Because I want this to work, I want to use a hero point.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless, do you know a lot about the church, Veronica?
I know a little bit about the church. I have some knowledge. I know the prophets. It literally says, I received a traditional Vaticine upbringing in Vodacci.
Yes. In Vodacci. Okay, no worries. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spend a hero point, crossing it off, and I'm adding a D10 to my pool. So I've got 1 pip in intrigues, and I'm gonna use my wits.
Okay,
I
great.
think. So I have 3 in wits. So I'm gonna roll 4, and I'm gonna add 1
for your
dice
hero
pool
point, and you're gonna
5.
keep what? What does your skill say you keep? What are your
Keep
successes?
an 8, so that's pretty
8
high.
and above. Yeah, that's pretty high.
But with a dice pool of 5, I am hoping. Oops, I dropped it. I'm hoping that this will make it happen. All right. Yeah. I rolled 3 8s and a 10.
Whoa!
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You don't have a specialty in intrigue, do you? It would be the little diamond beside the skill. Is that marked?
Oh, no. I was reading all my advantages. No, I do not have a specialty in intrigues.
Okay, very good. But it sounds like you've gotten 3 successes.
Yeah, I rolled 3 8s and a 10. That's crazy.
All right,
No,
the
4
difficulty.
successes.
So 4 successes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the difficulty for this was 2.
Okay.
So you earn 2 hero points by spending
Wow.
1 hero point. And you know, I'm going to say 2 things. The first thing you know, and not everybody would know this, because King Sandoval has been, the current King Sandoval has been at odds with the church for years. He has separated himself from the church. He has not allowed the church to control him, and that has angered members of the church. But you know that Cardinal Catalina de Armas, the woman you are observing, happens to be on the king's side. She is actually, apart from the Hierophant, Verdugo, a supporter of the king.
Ooh.
And you also notice, through your intrigue, that she looks very concerned and her head is on a swivel, kind of clocking everyone in the room like she's looking for someone.
Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on that to see if I can see when she sees who she's looking for. I want to try and find out who that is.
Okay, very good. Let us move to Yug and Hans, whom I assume are together.
Yes.
Yes. Also, let me do a quick rule correction. You do not earn hero points on extra successes when you spend a hero point on the roll.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
remembered seeing that. So yeah, one small
Ew.
detail.
That makes
Sorry,
sense.
Mary Lou.
Otherwise, you'd run a hero point mill.
constantly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and you would increase your
very
chances
good.
of getting more hero points.
Fine.
Forgive me, you are at 0 hero points, Manuela.
That's okay. The information was worth it.
I think that Ug is first going to thank Hans. Is it Hans? Hans, right?
It's Hans.
Yeah. So he says, thank you, my good man. Very well done there. At the door, very impressive movement there to make sure that we stay protected. I do not think we have many friends here, I'm afraid, and this event itself seems like the perfect way to set up some sort of breaking of our ceasefire. We've worked so hard to put in place. So keep your eyes peeled, yes?
How close would you like me to stay to you? I would like to.
Oh, Hans! Very, very close, my friend.
Very well.
At all times, never leave my side.
I would like to clock every exit and entrance and try to see how many armed guards are in here, or how many people have armaments upon them that they're allowed to. So I'm going to talking to the GM. I'm going to, scan the room as much as Hans can, without leaving the side of Hugh.
Give me a strategy roll.
Okay.
I think
as
wits
you're
would be
rolling that-
appropriate, but perhaps resolve, because we know that Hans is an idealist and very dedicated to his job. That would work as well.
Yeah. And I'm a little bit better at that, so I'll gladly take that. So I need to hit a 7 or better. And I actually rolled a 7, and a 9.
That's
Oh.
great.
Goodness!
You earn
rolling
2
good.
hero points because you didn't spend a hero point, so you can earn them on this roll. You earn 2 hero points, and Hans, you notice, because you're looking over the palace guards, you're looking over the security detail here, that 2 or 3 of the palace guards don't seem to know the protocol very well. They're kind of like not staying at their stations. They are... Yeah, they are kind of like entering areas that you would say, well, why is that guy moving from there to there? He should maintain, sentry over that exit. And now please make a melee roll for me.
Okay.
Now I have...
Melee?
Remind me, I have a dot next to mine. So what does that mean?
It means 10s explode when you
Tens
roll
explode.
this. So if you get a 10, it'll count as a success, and you may roll it again to see if you get an additional success.
And am I combining melee with anything, or is this a straight melee roll?
You will always combine every roll you make with a trait and a skill. Okay?
So brawn, I would say, probably, right? If that's
No,
what's
not in this
happening? Or
case,
no?
because you're going to try to notice something. So why don't you give me resolve or wits for this?
Okay, I'll stick with resolve.
Very good.
And, all right. I only got one success. I got 2 1s and a 6, but 6 was my target score.
It's a good roll in some ways, but it's not enough. The difficulty was 2. Something is off about these guards. Something is off about these members of the palace guard.
I think that Hugh is not noticing that. I think as Hans is detailing, I have to look at all these exits and stuff like that. Hugh is like, oh, well, that should be easy for you in such a small and modest hall. Good thing we don't have to try to protect me in the vast halls of Montaigne. But this place is cute. It is cute. He looks around and scans the crowd for maybe it's this guy who you said sat on the council, but one of his primary ambassadorial contacts from Castile. Like one of his Castilian contacts that he frequently has had sort of social engagements with in the past, to try to figure out what's going on here. Why was this called so quickly? Somebody who he knows.
Okay, great. So he's going to go and try to find a contact of his own here at the party?
Yes.
Okay, and
I will be by his side, though.
Okay,
Right?
and
I like that.
what kind of contact do you believe that he has here at the party?
I believe that he has a okay. I think that over his time acting as an ambassador to Montaigne in Castile, that he has been at many, many social events, and that he has a friend among the council, or at least somebody that is very close to the council and has the ear of the king, or is close to someone of that nature, right? So one thing I can do, and this is a mechanic, it's an advantage, I can spend my hero point that I started the game with, and I have an advantage called Friend at Court. And it's spend 1 hero point to reveal that you have a close friend present at a party, ball, or any other social event.
Love it.
And the key here is
awesome.
I'm also looking at the goals on the character sheet for the scenario, which is find out why this event has been called together so quickly. So he's trying to get somebody on the king's end to see if the king called it or if somebody else called it. King and queen called it.
Could I warn him quickly about what I saw with the guards? That these guards may be impersonators. They may be assassins. These are not the normal guards.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You warn Yug of that, but Yug is busy. Yug is going to be contacting his friend at court. And of course, you have a friend in Doña Isabel de Torres, who is a lady-in-waiting to the queen.
Oh, whoa, to the queen. Okay.
Yes. And she is the perfect flower of nobility here in Castile, always wearing a smile, always dressed in beautiful yet modest finery. And when you walk up to her, she says, Diplomat Montmorat, it is so fine to see you here at the reception. And perhaps she waves a fan at herself, because here in Castile it can get quite hot.
He will reach out a hand. My dear Doña, as always, you are a vision. And he'd like to take her hand and give her like a kiss on the hand sort of thing.
And she does the perfect, like, put your fan up to your mouth and giggle.
And he kind of bows a little, gives her a kiss on the hand, and says, what a lovely event the king has put together here. The king and queen, in such short notice, came together rather quickly, don't you think?
It came together very quickly. One wonders what the purpose of this event will be.
And you, my dear, do not know? I thought you knew everything.
Well, there are many rumors circulating. Some say that the Queen is about to announce that she will have a happy event in the future.
Well,
Others
that would be
say-
very interesting news.
Yes, others say that perhaps the King is about to announce new reforms. Although those last reforms certainly did not make him popular among those who wear the collar.
Indeed, yes. But it was indeed called by the king and queen themselves. They decided to call it, yes?
Yes, certainly.
Very interesting.
Move
As
carefully.
he says that, sorry, go ahead.
Move carefully, Ambassador.
Thank you, my dear, as always. What would I do without you? And he's going to look kind of out past her, and I think he sees across the room Veronica. And it's like, oh, there is another member of Los Vagabundos.
I think right when you look, as if she felt you looking, Veronica turns to you and sort of does the subtlest of like head nods
Yep.
as she looks away. And could I say what I want Veronica to do?
Of course.
You see, she does this head nod and she sort of touches her hair and she pulls a pin from her hair and then quickly hides it up her sleeve. And she's going to move. I would like Veronica to move to any area that looks like she should not be there, that is not for guests. I would like to stealth, and she takes this pin out of her hair to pick any lock that she might need to pick or slide it into a door to open a door. She wants to basically get out of this main area and go find information elsewhere. There's too many eyes here.
Yes, well, she was on the balcony surrounding the reception, and she notices one of the palace guards, locking a door and then walking away. That is certainly an area that she should not be in. Would she attempt to go inside?
Yes, I stealth. I do stealthing. I take this from...
I stared.
I take it from my hair.
I stealth.
I stealth.
You creep up to the door, and you may attempt a theft roll to
Okay.
get it open. No one has
Now-
noticed you.
Can we? That is a really good spot to take a break. We got to hit a break.
I was
So
about to
let's-
take a break, Joe.
Oh, sorry. We didn't
You
discuss
took
it ahead
my
of time.
break before I wanted to take it.
Veronica
Sorry,
turns to
please.
the camera. And
By all
now,
means.
a break and a word from our sponsors.
We'll be right back.
Welcome in, everybody, to We Shouldn't Be Alive. And today, we will be playing Twilight 2000.
Been waiting my whole life for this.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Once I think we're hidden, I'm going to flip down my night vision goggles and just turn them on.
Hannah,
Yeah.
there is somebody out there watching us.
Whoa, easy.
They're flanking behind us.
He's got his Uspotskaya soldats, like calm down, soldier.
You all hear boom, and then the rattling of gunfire.
I might ready my M4.
If you'd like to take a shot,
I take the shot.
oh baby! Here we go. Rate of fire of 1.
Oh! I think
Yeah.
that she's like, like all of a sudden. Can I just say something very quickly?
Absolutely.
We shouldn't be alive.
Wow. You see, that's
shouldn't
what a
even
good
be
GM
alive.
does.
That's
They
the
say
title.
the name of the show.
Yeah.
Works the
Casual
name of the show
conversation.
in.
Welcome back to our playtest of 7th Sea 3rd edition from Agate Studios here on Friends of the Pod on the Glass Cannon Network, where friends play role-playing games. And I really am friends with these people. And
Yes.
I've been to all of their houses and used their toilets.
It's true. It's true.
Mark of friendship.
That
mark of
is
friendship.
That's true friendship.
Yep.
So here we are, back at the reception at San Cristobal. called by the good King Amadeus Sandoval, and we left Veronica Cardinale on the balcony overlooking the reception, trying to get into a room she should not be. Veronica, do you have a theft skill?
I do. And before Veronica rolls, at the top of this game session, we should have done something that I forgot. I'm going to do it now. That way I know what's going on. But her magic, her sorte strega, this system is so cool. I love this. Jared emailed me. He was like, do you have tarot cards? Because the magic is tarot cards. Boy, howdy, do I have tarot cards.
Right.
You picked the
boy.
right Sydney.
This deck, I have a few different decks. This deck I picked specifically for this is the Medieval Scapini Tarot.
Oh,
Nice.
You
The
have
look-
got the perfect deck.
Yeah.
The look of it is so fun. Look at the Knight of Wands. Like the art style is just
So
like
cool.
Beautiful.
medieval. You can't see it that well on camera, but I draw 3 cards at the start of a game session because my sorcery points, I have 3 points in sorcery. So I shuffled. I'm going to draw my 3 cards. I get to see them. And then basically I get to use them in the game. They all do different things. They have different effects. I'll tell you what I have, even though it doesn't matter to you guys right now. 7 of coins, the Fool,
Nice.
and the Pope. Oh my God!
Oh, the fantasy Pope.
Yes.
How
Okay.
topical.
That is
So-
very, very appropriate.
This is fun. I'll give a brief rundown. Coins and clubs, basically, you use them for certain skills. I could use them for legends, humanities, investigation, strategy, self-control. The number on the card has a different effect. And then the major arcana, which is my big spell casting, is actually related to like cards like these, the Fool, the Pope, the Tower, the Lovers, stuff like that. So these are big ones. I don't know if these take a lot of points and stuff and can be bad. So we'll see what happens with that. But
That's awesome.
back to the rolling. So
I'll
I
only
will,
make one other note about your sorcery.
yes.
You cannot use sorcery on yourself or another sorte strega. The sorte strega are invisible to the winds and strands of fate. So you can only aid or curse others, never yourself, never another fate witch.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why the church doesn't like them. They want to control it all for themselves.
Yes.
That's right.
Also, the church traditionally has a very fraught relationship with witches. Okay. Let's see
All
if
right,
you're able to
why?
use your hairpin to pick this lock and get in and see what's inside.
So I have 1 pip in my theft. I think I would use either my wits or my finesse. I would say wits, but you
I
tell
would
me.
say finesse.
Okay, of course you would. And then I'm also using my conspirator advantage, one of my advantages. I gain 1 additional die on cunning skills when my plans were prepared in advance. As I pull my hairpin, Jared, would you say that I planned that in advance?
Yes, you're saying you planned it in advance as a lock pick? You know what? I love it. Yes, absolutely. Take that die.
Thanks, Jared. Okay. So 1 for theft, 2 for finesse, and then an additional 1. So 4 dice total. And my theft, I only have 1 pip. So 8 or higher is what I need. Let's see. 1 success.
1 success. Now, 1 success is not enough.
Okay.
But I will give you the option to force fate. This is one of the rules of 7th C, 3rd edition. You may succeed, but I earn villainy points for every success you missed it by.
Okay.
And I'll tell you that the difficulty was 2, so I will take 1 villainy point if you would like to succeed right now.
I would. And what's interesting, I'm not going to use it now. One of my advantages as Sorte Strega is once per game, I can force fate for free and get a success without you gaining a villainy point.
Cool.
But
As a sort of
but-
strega.
I won't do that right now. Meta gaming, I don't want to draw attention to myself. I'm not using my magics right now. So I will take the win and you will take the villainy point. That's so fun.
Very good. Okay, so you have given me a villainy point. I got 1 for each player, so I am now up to 5 villainy points.
Oh.
And you open the
Wow.
door. And inside, you find what would be the equivalent of a small cloak closet, right? A place to put cloaks and boots and various supplies that would be needed for a reception here. But when you go in past the cloaks and coats that are hanging here, you find a chest open on the floor. And in that chest are swords and pistols.
Oh, it's the confiscated weapons.
Okay. So if I'm making conclusions, this seems like where other people's weapons. These don't look like guards' weapons. These
You hear
look like
someone coming in the door.
I go in a cloak. And I stand like I'm in a cloak, hanging.
You may make a stealth roll.
Pulling the ET.
Stealth. I'm pulling the ET. My arms through the cloak. Stealth and what would you say? Finesse?
That sounds great.
Okay. Let's see. That's going to be 2 successes.
That's enough. While you are watching from between the cloaks, a servant comes in. In fact, one of the young women you saw serving wine off of a platter earlier. She reaches into the chest, pulls out a gun, looks it over, slides it into her belt, covers it with her apron, smiles to herself, and exits the closet. Meanwhile, Manuela, is there anything else you'd like to do? Very briefly, because you can now hear that the king is moving toward the dais and people are kind of gathering to listen to him make an announcement. So you only have a few scant minutes to do one more thing before the announcement begins.
Did I happen to see if the Cardinale, if she saw who she was looking for, or if her aspect changed at all?
No, she is still looking for someone, and now it seems like she's trying to get close to the king and queen.
Trying to get close to the king and queen. Okay. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm going to try and find the most advantageous position. I'm going to stay up here on the balcony. I think it's too late for me to go down, but I want to try and find an advantageous position where I can see everything and everyone, and maybe there's like a hanging tapestry or something that if I needed to get down quickly, I could.
Very good. You arrange yourself beside a hanging tapestry. I told you there's like all this cloth of gold hanging here in San Cristobal. And you are standing right beside a servant that stands and looks down. A young woman stands and looks down on the king and queen.
Mm-hmm. I'll take another goblet of wine, replace.
She's not currently holding her tray. She seems like she is getting ready to be attentive and listen to the king give a speech.
Well, that's interesting because that's not her job as a servant to stand and listen to the king. So I'm going to keep an eye on her.
Yug, anything else before the king's speech begins?
Anything else before the king's speech begins? Okay, so at this point, I think that Hans has alerted me to his suspicions about the guards, and I would like to. I kind of want to do. So, like, as a player, my head is like, are they plants? Are they not real guards? But I mean, wouldn't people recognize them or not recognize them? They're beneath their notice. Could I do an intrigue roll to see if there is anyone paying attention to the guards? I know that sounds kind of odd, but I mean among the elite, like is there anyone that seems to be talking to a guard or signaling a guard in any way that is a member of the court?
Yes, you may. But because you've told me that you're looking for that, I'm not going to make you roll, okay? Unless you'd really like to. Would you like to roll?
No, not if you're just going to tell me some stuff. Let's keep it moving for sure.
You see the cardinal, whom Manuela was watching earlier. And perhaps when Manuela was looking at her a second ago, she wasn't doing anything except kind of looking around. But now she has moved up to one of these palace guards that Hans pointed out to you. This is the Cardinal Catalina de Armas. She has moved up to this palace guard, and she seems to be giving him orders. And then she reaches down and she pulls up his sleeve. But there's so many people crowding to get to the front of the dais that you can't quite see what she might be looking at.
Interesting.
Hans, anything else before the speech begins?
Do I notice what he's noticing?
Yes.
And try to get a little bit closer to see if I can see that.
Yes. Would you like to go ahead and give me a roll to see if you can see what's going on there?
Mm-hmm. Would that be investigation?
I like that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Although I'm terrible at that, but I'll do my resolve and see if I can get at least one success.
So you're rolling just your resolve here.
Right, because I don't have anything as far... Well, let me ask this, and I was going to maybe save this for the end, but I may have made a mistake, and that is, I didn't... Because under advantages, some cost a hero point and some don't. And what I didn't realize is that my archetype, Idealist, with that, I gain one additional die on any roll meant to directly protect someone.
Okay.
So that you could apply that in different ways.
And I will tell you how it will be applied. It
Great.
would not be applied just to investigate something and see something across the room.
Okay.
Directly protecting someone means someone's being attacked and you're jumping in their way.
Just making sure.
Bodyguard style.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. But I felt like earlier when I was trying to learn more things about the guards, would that have applied then?
No, it would not have.
Okay.
That is not directly protecting somebody.
Understood. Okay.
I think it's indirectly protecting somebody.
Hans,
It's
if
definitely
I
protecting
said it
somebody, but-
applied to the roles you're describing, it would apply to almost every role you make in almost every situation because you are a bodyguard.
Yep. Fair enough. Okay. Glad we
Get him, Hans.
got
Get
that.
him!
I failed.
Oh.
Would you like to
I
force
couldn't
fate?
see.
Oh, God.
Not for this. No.
Not for this.
I don't
okay.
think so. But I note that some shenanigans are going on there. I know in my heart of hearts. I know in my spirit and my soul that something is happening there. And it isn't with what I know about those guards, non-guards, and what's happening here, I think I should make my way over there. But I don't want to leave my...
I'll go with you.
Yeah, come with me. Perfect. Yes.
If Hans just starts to kind of walk in that direction because he sees, something suspicious that I started to see, he's going to maybe not super confidently in his mind, but projecting confidence. Excuse me. Sorry, I mean to get closer to the front. And
You're pushing your way. Are you pushing your way toward the cardinal and the guard that she was investigating? Yeah, the guard that she was interacting with. Okay, yes. The two of you begin pushing your way toward the cardinal. The cardinal is in, along the side of a wall with this palace guard, but you are kind of in the middle of the crowd that's been gathering toward the front to hear the king and queen. And suddenly the king's voice rings out. Nobles of Castile, representatives of the people of Castile, ambassadors of the nations of Terra and of the Vatican Church, dear friends, we thank you for coming tonight at our invitation. As you have guessed, we did not choose the location of this reception by chance, and now you are quite close. And you see that the cardinal is now standing, facing very close to the palace guard with her hands kind of hanging at her sides. And the palace guard is really very up close to her. And their body language looks a little strange.
Yeah. Something seems off here. I would like to interpose myself between them. Like, under the auspices of, even like while the king is speaking, just like quietly being like, "Good evening, Cardinal.
Okay.
Pleasure to see you."
Give me
I didn't get the chance to say hi before the speech began.
Give me a roll to get close. Now it's going to be a little harder to get close. So how would you move your way in? Athletics is one option. You could use your panache plus athletics to kind of like you are a person of note that needs to be allowed to get through. You might use your
What a bit, I guess it's not stealth.
Hans could use his brawn plus melee to just push people out of the way.
I could either use brawn. I could use brawn athletics or brawn melee. Either one.
You could aid. Yeah, maybe one of you aid the other. Give 3 points to his dice pool.
I don't have any hero points just yet.
Oh.
I used mine.
Oh yeah, you used yours. Okay.
I can do something.
Well,
I can do something.
You could, but are you aware
Well,
of this? Right now you're in a closet.
I'm wondering, when is it my turn? I go after them, so are they done doing their thing? I'm in the closet.
Oh, we all want our turn.
I'm in the closet.
We all want our turn to come.
I am in the coat.
It will in a minute. It will in a minute, I promise. I would never forget
stuck.
of our fate. I would never forget our fate witch. But right now, would Hans like to push through using
Yes, I
brawn
think
plus
Hans would just be like, out of the way.
Very good.
Pardon me. Pardon us. Sorry. He's apologizing as Hans is just brutally pushing people out of the way.
You ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Get up there, Hans. Get us closer.
Okay, not only did I get 2 successes, but I got a 10 on one of them, and with my melee skill, my 10s explode.
Yes, go for it.
So I will roll another one.
Roll it again.
Explode it.
I got another 10.
Okay,
Oh my
keep
God.
going.
Tens
So that
explode.
explodes again? Okay. Holy crap. And then that was a 1. So that didn't happen. But still. So that would give me 3 successes total.
3 successes total, and I'm going to say that earns you a hero point, okay? Because you got more successes than you needed. And you push through, and you're leading Hugh through this crowd, and the king continues to speak. The announcement I am about to make seems essential to us, so that we may reconnect with our past, our history, our convictions, and what forms the foundation of Castile. You move up to the cardinal, and Hugh, you said you were going to say something to the cardinal?
Yes, I was just going to first thing I want to do when we get close is see if I can see anything in her hand.
You see nothing in her hand. You cannot see anything. It looks like almost like they're about to kiss, but their body language is not romantic. What do? Do you say hello?
Yes, he just kind of pokes a head in and says, "Good evening, Cardinal."
The cardinal sort of steps back away from the palace guard, and the palace guard is holding a sword covered in blood that has just slid out of the cardinal's chest. The king holds up a parcel in his hand. In a few minutes, I intend to read you Vaticine archives of the highest importance. These documents were brought to my attention, and after having their authenticity tested by many sources, I came to the conclusion that it was impossible to keep them secret any longer. The serving girl standing beside Manuela pulls a pistol and aims it down at the king.
Full on body tackle. The body tackle. I'm tackling her to the ground.
All right.
Oh my gosh, full on body tackle.
You have begun an action scene.
I sure
Oh,
have.
yeah, it is.
Consider me acting. Yes.
I consider you to be acting. All right.
100%.
So, we are going to begin our action scene. And here is how it's going to go. The player I get to choose which player goes first. That player acts. That player's enemy reacts. And then the player can react to whatever the enemy did. Okay?
Great.
So in this particular case, Manuela is going to tackle the assassin dressed as a serving girl. Okay? And this serving girl forms part of a brute squad. Brute squads are a type of enemy in 7th Sea that allows your heroes to tackle a bunch of people at once. You know how in a swashbuckling movie, Captain Blood fights like 5 guys on the deck of a ship? You can do that.
Never less than 5.
Right. You can do that in 7th Sea.
Waste of his time.
So there is a brute squad on this balcony firing at the king. And this represents one of them, but you're really fighting all of them, Manuela. Okay?
Okay.
So, you're going to attack this person, and you are unarmed. So, the skill that you're going to use with your attack attribute, your attack, what do you call it? Aptitude, rather. The skill is going to be athletics, because you currently have no weapons in your hand. So
okay,
give
that's
me
fine.
Your attack aptitude. What did you choose for your attack aptitude?
I chose for attack. I only wrote down the pips. I didn't choose which one I did. I'm gonna choose finesse.
Finesse. Okay, very good. All right.
So I've got 2 pips in finesse. I've got 2 pips in athletics. I have no
good
hero points to spend, but I've got a dice pool of 4.
And to be clear, from now on, for the rest of the fight, finesse is what you use to attack, okay?
Yes.
And you will need to get past their defenses, which are also represented by a difficulty, just like any skill roll. So I know what the number of successes you need to score wounds against this brute squad is, okay?
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I got a 10 and a 7, and on my athletics, I needed a 7 to succeed. So that's 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay.
I do not have a specialty, so my 10 does not explode.
Okay. You did not get enough successes to damage the brute squad in the balcony.
Okay. What about disarming?
What about it? You've already attacked. So you said that you tackled, right? So you have tackled and you have failed.
Yeah.
But your action has stopped this person from firing at the king, right? Like they are unable to fire at the king. So instead, they bring their gun around and try to fire into you.
Yeah.
While you're like wrestling with her.
Yeah, fair.
All right.
As I tackle, just for flavor, I want to make sure as I'm tackling, I'm saying assassin, like as
great.
the top of my
it
lungs.
Echoes out through the hall.
Okay. So the brute squad's reaction roll or reaction is to attack Manuela. All right, and the GM of 7th Sea 3rd edition never rolls any dice. Now you would roll your defense aptitude.
Yeah.
And what did you choose for defense?
I chose brawn, and I only have 2. So.
All right. I know what the difficulty is.
Okay.
And remember, you add the aptitude plus like the skill that you're using, which, because you are currently without weapons, would still be athletics.
Okay. So it's still 4 die. And athletics, I need a 7. Okay, here we go. I got 2 successes, a 7 and a 9.
2 successes, but we have established that this brute squad requires 3 successes. Would you like to force fate?
I mean,
Yeah, I would.
I'll take 1 more villainy point, bringing me up to 6.
yeah, boy.
Oh, man.
And
boy.
you managed to avoid taking the shot as the gun goes off and everyone starts screaming. The king puts his head over his hands, Panic breaks out. And now I'm going to turn to Veronica because she's been waiting patiently for her turn for a while.
What is going on out there? I hear a gun. What she does is she slips back out of the cloak as soon as that servant left. And she goes over to the chest and she wants to find Manuela's gun that she saw that was taken away from her. So she's looking for like that pearl inlay handle, the holster it was on. She remembers what it looks like. She's digging through this box.
Yes. So you have correctly ascertained that someone took the weapons that had been confiscated at the front and then armed these servants and people so that they could become assassins. And so reaching in, you find Manuela's gun with the ivory inlay and you have it in your hand.
And she goes, see. And she runs back out of the room. And I realize, so this is interesting. Not every tarot card for the Major Arcana appears to be on their list. So like the Pope is not on their list.
Well, the Pope is usually referred to as the Hierophant.
Right. I don't see that on their list either.
Would it be the Emperor? No. It would be the Hierophant.
The only ones, there's other ones like the Emperor, the Prophet, but those are their own cards. So they might just not have one for it.
Oh, interesting. They
crazy.
may want you to buy the 7th Sea tarot deck.
But they do
Here's
say
what
you
I'm
can
gonna say.
use your own. I can pick a new card.
They do. Perhaps we are just ignorant of what means what here. You know what I mean? Like what represents what. I'm gonna rule that the Hierophant is the Prophet.
The Prophet. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. That's very fun. These magic things are really cool, but they're very specific, so I want to make sure I use the right ones for if I want to do spells. I think she's going to step back out of the coat closet as this action starts erupting, like as there's this loud noise, which is her perfect opportunity to step back out of this locked room. And maybe she sees Manuela, like maybe, as the crowd has started to run and disperse and there's this person with a gun. I would like to do some Major Arcana.
Oh,
amazing.
Baby. Okay,
so
let's dance.
While everyone is distracted, I think she sees this like red thread coming from Manuela's area because there's this like heightened action right now. And you see, if you were to see her, maybe you're not paying attention, you see her sort of take the air as if there's a thread and like loop it around her finger and like pull it tightly. And she is using the Fool.
The Fool.
The Fool.
And she's casting this Major Arcana on Manuela. The target suddenly feels emboldened and ready for any feat. The keep threshold of their next roll is reduced by 3.
Wow.
So
amazing.
Empowering Manuela, seeing that she's in this like actual combat right now, I will do that. I will spend my hero point and take a backlash because it's Major Arcana, yes?
That's right, yes. And a backlash means you take -1 die to every upcoming roll until you unless you want to turn that backlash into a wound. You can pay for it in blood.
Pay for it in blood. I'll take the backlash for now, and I think that's her turn. She exits the room and she kind of does this spell work.
Excellent. Okay. Awesome. I'm going to say that the reaction of the villains is to see if they notice Veronica doing anything interesting. And I'm going to say that because they have a 3 as sort of their difficulty level, I would like Veronica to react to that. How subtle is she being? Can she make a stealth roll for me?
Absolutely. Could I argue that she's using wit to do this move, knowing that there has just been a loud commotion, so she purposefully stepped out of the room at this moment?
Argued and accepted. Wit it is.
Wit it is. All right.
Wit it is.
Wit it is. Oh, but -1 because I am hurt, or I am backlashed. Okay.
Wow.
Oh no.
Don't say that.
That's
happened?
no successes.
No successes. And the brute squad, armed with pistols on the balcony, all suddenly notices Veronica doing her magic, and they turn their guns toward her.
Not me!
And we'll be right back in a moment.
God, all the guns! Pop, 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 pop. Welcome back to Friends of the Pod. We are in the middle of a action scene for 7th C 3rd edition. It's not out yet. This is a playtest, and right now you can go to the link below and you can get involved with the Kickstarter. It's already funded, but it's still earning dollars. I can't wait. It's cooking right now.
It's
as I'm watching
cooking.
it.
And I can't wait to buy my copy of this game because I love the world and I'm loving these new mechanics. So let's get right back into it. Veronica took her turn. She cast a spell to help her friend and fellow member of Los Vagabundos, Manuela.
Los Vagabundos.
Manuela get an advantage next time her turn comes around, but she exposed herself. And now the brute squad on the balcony sees that Veronica is there. Let us now move to Hans. Hans, I'd like for you to act.
So, we were close enough to see not the stabbing, but the post-stabbing.
Mm-hmm, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And so, I would like to seize the stabber, if I could.
Very good.
Am I close enough to do that?
Absolutely. And you realize that there is a brute squad down here, and they are those guards you noticed earlier, and they are all brandishing their swords and heading for the king. This one, however, is distracted by you, because you, Hans, and Hugh have approached, right? So you may go ahead and start attacking this brute squad, and let me know how you'd like to do that, what you're doing.
So I am attacking the entire brute squad, correct?
Right, that's correct. I mean, it might be represented in the fiction as we're talking by the one guy in front of you right now, but I can tell you that if you do, a number of wounds, you'll be taking down the entire brute squad.
Well, listen here. I have accrued 5 hero points. And what that does is once per game, with 5 hero points, actually it's not once per game, but I can combine it. So I can perform a legendary feat.
What the hell are you doing?
All 5 of my hero points. So, please tell me, Game Master, what a legendary feat is in this game, or is it something that I can describe? What kind of liberties do I have here?
I have a great idea, but I also would love for it to come from you. But basically, legendary feat means that you definitely automatically succeed at whatever you'd like to do, and that it can be very effective to eliminate an obstacle of any sort, right? Mm-hmm. So do you want to pitch something, or do you want to hear my idea?
I would love to hear your idea.
My idea is that our friend Hans takes out the entire brute squad on the ground floor single-handedly, doing a dance with his knife and sliding it into each of their necks one after another.
A traditional a dance of your country.
Well, it is
a maneuver that I learned at the Kummerholt Academy.
Of course.
At the Duelist Academy.
Yes.
Therefore, with my blade, I am going to. It almost appears to others that it is a choreographed dance, but these lowly guards, these lowly fake guards, have no idea that they have been drawn into my trap, and one by one, their throats are slit, and the king is protected.
So, you lose all your hero points, but you spin through the crowd. As the people are running, you kind of slide around them, you turn, you twist, and each time you come to one of those conspirators, your knife goes into the neck and out again. Yug, as a diplomat, you're probably like, holy shit, as he just kind of like spins around you doing this. And I'm going to rule that the brute squad on the ground with swords who were disguised as palace guard are gone.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay.
Amazing.
Well done. Now, normally there'd be a reaction against what Hans has done from the enemies. And I'm going to say, for our purposes, the reaction is just that you see an enemy that you actually recognize. You actually recognize a member of the Inquisition, Yug, named Diego Gonzalez, and he is shouting orders at the henchmen, at the brute squad that Hans is taking out until they're all taken out. So the reaction is just that you saw him shouting orders, and then he sees Hans take all of them out, and he begins backing away from all of you. That's what happens with him. Okay, that's the reaction.
Dare you.
And now it is Yug's turn. And Yug, before you take the action you'd like to take, I'd like for you to make a strategy roll.
A strategy roll. Okay. Strategy. Not trained in strategy. Okay. I guess this is... Oh, because I was going to say, I guess this is just talking about military strategy. It's under the heading military. So yes,
Sure
there
is.
we go. Military strategy. Okay, so I'll use wits, and I've got no pips in strategy, so I need 9s. Only 9s will allow me to succeed. And I got a 10. 110.
110, which is enough to tell you, Yug, you are in the middle of a coup d'etat. Because if a high-ranking member of the Inquisition, Diego Gonzalez, who you just spotted, is openly ordering this brute squad to kill the king, then there are more people outside and more people coming, and standing here and fighting them all is not an effective strategy. What would you like to do?
I would like to... Now, is the king completely devoid of protection, or are his trusted bodyguards there?
What a great question. You look up and 2 of the king's 4 bodyguards are laying on the ground with their bellies slit by the brute squad that Hans just took out. Oh. That happened while Hans was dealing with the other 2.
All right, so he's going to jump into action. I have no idea what to do here, and I certainly, as a character, don't know exactly what's going on outside, but I have my suspicions. I know that my chief motivation here, my selfish chief motivation here, personally, is that Montaigne must be seen as an ally to the king, and must be seen as not villainous in this situation.
And if there's a coup d'etat, the church is not going to be, they're not friendly with Montaigne, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yes, and it's just basically he is going to do everything he can to protect the king right now. So, and queen. So what he would like to do is move toward them quickly and say, "Your Majesties, the palace is under attack. Please follow me," and try to get them out of there. Like, try to escort them out of there and say, "This is my man. He will protect you. Look what he has done already on the floor. Let's go."
Okay, so here's what happens. You run up and you say this to them, and the king says, "No, this is my kingdom. I must stay. I must fight." And he pulls like a dagger on that's on his belt, and you must convince him to go. with a movement plus something
He's
roll.
too good of a king.
Movement
Too good of a man.
plus something rolled. What does that mean?
Movement is the aptitude that governs anything other than attacking, defending, or
During combat.
damaging during a combat. Okay? And then plus something, what kind of skill would you use to convince someone
Oh, so I can
to
use
run?
skill, not a trait, because I would use persuasion.
No, your traits always go into your aptitudes. So you've chosen a trait for your movement aptitude. What trait did you choose?
I had chosen finesse. I wanted
Great.
to move quickly
So
among
you,
the floor
with
as needed.
finesse, move up to the king. You tell him he has to run. He says, no, we will stay and fight. And then what skill are you using?
Persuasion.
Great. So roll movement plus persuasion.
So I'm doing finesse plus persuasion,
Yeah.
That's right.
basically.
That's
finesse plus persuasion. Okay, great. So finesse is 2, persuasion is 3 for me, with a 6 or higher. He's a very convincing ambassador to Montaigne. All right, here we go. Let's go, buddy. Come on. Get me something. Whoa. 2 successes.
2 successes
Out of
is
5
enough.
dice.
And
Okay. Whew.
2 successes is enough. And in fact, it's only took 1 success to get to convince the king because
Okay, great.
Good God, there's so many bad guys around. Okay, so he says, very well. There is a secret passage through the library. This way. He
We
and
will conjure back your majesty.
he and Queen Isabella start heading toward a door that will lead back through some corridors into the library.
Can I just do one last thing? I know there might be a reaction or something, but I just want to turn and make eye contact with the only one I know for sure is here, besides Hans, is Veronica. And he wants to turn around, make eye contact with Veronica, and just gesture that, like, we're leaving. Like, I'm taking the king and we're leaving. Like, follow us, basically.
I love this. You know, you guys didn't talk the entire party, but you always know who the other members of Los Vagabundos are. And so you look up and you lock eyes with Veronica just as all these guns are turning around to face her. And then you begin to usher the king out. So in that particular case, your action was to convince, and then the king did a reaction. You've taken out the brute squad on the floor, and now you're headed out. Okay. So that was your round. Now it is what is called the adversity reaction. At the end of every round, something develops, right? So if there were a fire, the fire would spread, right? If you were in a social situation, someone would make some sort of move. Like every round, something happens. I'm going to spend some villainy points to make some things happen.
Okay.
Oh, dear. We've stocked them up.
I spend a villainy point, which brings me down to only 5. And another brute squad armed with swords comes running in. They're all wearing crosses and the cassocks of the Inquisition. They're just openly marching in now. And Diego Gonzalez is ordering them to move forward and attack. Let's see. Anything else?
While you're thinking, can I just do a quick lore thing on the Inquisition here? Just because it's in the quick start and it's very quick. And they just mention how the Inquisition has been developing within the
Vaticine.
Vaticine, within the Vaticine, and that it's gotten a little bit out of hand, and they're sort of kind of in control a little bit, and even some of the priests, and even some of the powerful priests, don't speak out against them because they're afraid of them, even if they disagree with what they're doing. So it's scary. It's like this internal thing that is like even out of control within the Vaticine. And as you can see, the Cardinal has been stabbed. This is very bad.
That's so
very bad. Very bad. The other villainy point I will spend. Actually, I'm not going to spend it yet. But just so you know, a brute squad of Inquisitors is running after Hugh, Hans, the King, and the Queen as they exit the main reception room, the main reception hall, into the corridors that lead to the library. And now I would like for Manuela to go again.
Yes. Okay. Fatboy's here for emotional support. Okay. I have seen Veronica. I think, because if they are suddenly turning all their guns away from me to something else, there's another threat besides me that's more threatening. Yeah, it's Veronica the Fate Witch. I also am feeling strangely bolstered by the threads of fate that are tugging on my soul. Can you remind me what it does? I get plus, or
Yes.
my difficulty for anything is -3?
You're ready for any feat, so the keep threshold for your next roll is reduced by 3. So whatever you do, it's reduced
So if your
by
keep
3.
threshold was 7, it is now 3. Or no, now 4.
4.
Right.
Amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I
And
would
maybe
like,
you see, Manuela, if you look at me, you might see she's holding your gun.
yeah, and I love that. I love that because her gun, I think,
I want
is
to give
her-
it to you so bad. I don't
This
want
is her
it.
prized possession, right? Like her gun is like her arm.
It's the gun that killed the previous king. It has a lot of history.
It was probably is. I mean, it probably is her like a family gun, passed it down, and or maybe her father gave it to her, and she's like, I need to. This gun needs to do good deeds. I don't think I have time to wait for my gun though, so I want to disarm the nearest guard and take their gun so I can shoot somebody.
Okay. Would you like to... so you're just disarming and taking their gun. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I could, I'd do the action move thing of like the beep, poof, poof, and like turn their gun, take their gun and turn it around right on them and poof, blow their brains out, or take their gun and have them shoot somebody.
Guess what? That's so awesome, and that's the kind of things you're supposed to try to do in 7C.
That's
Like,
7C.
not only do I disarm them, I fire the gun they were holding into them. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, we struggle for it, I get it up against them, and I fire.
Yeah.
So, I would say to do a move like that, you would simply have to like get a little bit more over the difficulty. But your keep threshold's going to be way lower this time. Mm-hmm. So, would you like to make an athletics a attack plus athletics roll against this brute squad to do this?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. I was thinking about arguing movement instead of attack, but
Interesting.
because I'm disarming and using, I actually want to like use their arm to shoot one of their friends.
Heard and accepted. You can try movement this time because you're kind of doing something other than just straight out attacking.
Yeah, okay, well, for movement, I assigned wits, so that's 3. And then athletics, I have 2. And my
So
normal
5
keep
dice.
threshold is 7, but with my magic fate bolstered, my keep threshold is only 4.
That's right.
Amazing. Let's go. Oh, this is a great way to get hero points, too.
I got 5 successes.
5 successes.
My lowest roll was a 4. 2 7s, a 10.
Whoa.
I rolled a 10. I don't have athletics. I don't have a specialty, but I rolled 2 7s, a 6, a 10, and a 4. 5
Okay.
successes.
5 successes. That's
Amazing.
incredible. It's so amazing. Veronica moved the strands of fate, and you were able to get the gun out of the brute squad's hand and point it at them and fire. So, I'm going to rule that you do not actually earn hero points on something where a fate witch helped you. That
Okay.
feels somewhat in line with the idea that if you use a hero point, you don't earn hero points, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But your 5 successes do a lot, okay? They're going to do your damage for to the brute squad. How much damage do you do? What trait did you choose for damage?
I chose resolve for
Resolve.
damage.
And how much
I
is
have
that?
a 3.
Okay, so the brute squad only has 1 wound left. I don't know what you did, but you just took out like 3 of them.
Yeah, I think, I like
with one guy's
grab the
arm.
servant girl's arm. I like wrench it around. She shoots one of her friends. I like rip the gun
Nice.
out of her hands and like dislocate her arm in the process. So she's like screaming in pain on the ground. And shoot 2 more of them. So there's only maybe 1 left.
Yeah. There's just one left. Well done. But of course they get a reaction. And so the one left, it doesn't know whether to fire on you or Veronica, but I think they decide to fire on you.
That's okay.
And you know what? The thing is, because it's just done with like action reaction, they could also fire on Veronica on Veronica's turn if they're still around. So they're firing on you. Mm-hmm. You need to defend.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My defense is brawn. That's 2, and it's still athletics because or would we say that I'm armed now that I have a gun?
Interesting. I think that you could use
So now I
aim
could
because
use
someone's firing on you. Yeah,
Or could I
allow
use
you.
melee?
Or you could use melee. I'll allow it in this case. Sure.
Great. Okay, so I have a 3 in melee, only 2 in defense, but still, that's 5.
Wait, you know what, Mary Lou? No, I'm not
What?
going to let you use melee because you're not parrying blows
You're right.
with a
You're right.
weapon.
You're right.
You can use aim because you understand how guns are aimed, or you can use your athletics plus
They
your
are the
combat
same.
aptitude for defense.
They are the same, and you know what? I actually agree with you when we talked about it. That makes sense. Okay, so I've got 4 die. My keep threshold is 7. I'm no longer bolstered by fate, right? It's just for 1 roll.
Yep.
I got 1 success.
1 success is
No,
not
wait,
enough.
2. Sorry, 2. I got 2.
2 successes is
Yes, 2 8s.
not
I rolled 2
enough.
8s. Dang.
You take
That's right, they need
3
3.
wounds.
Ooh. That, unfortunately, is critical.
A major wound?
A major wound. Yeah,
Okay.
this is a serious wound.
Dramatic wound.
A dramatic
Dramatic wound.
wound.
Now,
Yeah.
dramatic wounds are interesting. You now get +1 die. You get +1 die for each dramatic wound you've taken. You now get +1 die. It should be of a different color because if you get a 10 on it, it explodes. The more heroes get hurt, the more they rise to the occasion. However, anytime you roll a 1 on your dramatic wound die, whatever action you were attempting just flat out
Automatically fails.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even if you have
as your
successes on
wound
the other
interrupts
die.
you. Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Incredible. And now let us turn to Veronica Cardinal.
Okay, what I do now? I have a gun, and they have a gun.
Yeah.
I
Shoot 'em.
I
I
not
love
know how to
Veronica's internal monologue. I have a gun.
If I have a gun and you have a gun,
have a
and
gun.
the train leaves the station at the same
fire the gun at the same time. No, she does not have any aim. She barely has melee. She has no athletics. I think she recognizes the danger here, and she needs to just get out of this open ballroom. So she is going to make a move towards the entrance that she saw Hugh go through and Hans, knowing
Of
that
course,
they are
it is.
protecting the
It
king.
is down below you. It is all the way down on the ground floor at the back of the room, behind the dais for the thrones. How are you going to get there quickly?
Is there any strong-looking person near me? Has everyone like screamed and fled, or are there any people around that could actually be helpful to us?
There are people around that could possibly be helpful to you. Yeah, there are actually palace guards who are still trying to do their job. Yeah.
Okay, so she's going to yell out, La Madre! And she's going to go up to a palace guard and say, Scusi, I need help on my ankle. Please, carry me down the stairs. And she just wants this guard. She wants to use this guard to protect her and get her downstairs. And I would like to use
Interesting.
empathy.
There's still, yeah, I'm going to allow all this. Listen, there's still a member of the Brute Squad trying to fire on you, but I like that you kind of like run into the crowd and you find a guard. I mean, to maybe carry you or maybe just use as a human shield.
Yes.
And
Wow.
I'm going to...
High morals here at
Listen, Los Vagabundos must protect our king.
La
We have to protect the king.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to first spend a villain point, and I'm going to rule that you've run up and you've grabbed onto and put your hand on the chest of Capitan Elena Alvarado, the head of the palace guard.
Okay. Okay.
Who was previously a
when
bitch
you
to
put
me.
your hand on her shoulder, grabs your hand and says, "Conspirator! You're trying to kill the king!"
No!
Yes.
not. No!
so-
You don't have to say that to me.
Let me have your roll, and I'll go ahead and make that difficulty a little higher because I spent the villainy point.
Okay. Did she seem like she was on the up and up before, or did we get any weird vibes from her? She was good before, yeah?
I think
Well,
she's
she was
good. I think she's too good. Do you know what I
She's
mean?
suspicious of Manuela is what happened.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna use the empathy and then, what do you think, panache or wits?
Panache would be the best, I think.
Okay, I'll do panache and then I remove 1 from my backlash. Let's see. Pretty good empathy, come on. Okay. 1, 2, 10. But I don't have anything special. Okay, so that's 3 successes.
3 successes is enough. What do you say to her?
I think she says, you're hurting my wrist. I am not a conspirator. The king, he need us. We have to move fast.
And it perhaps
And she really looks in pain. She looks weak. She's like, how could I? This is not my gun. I don't even know.
This isn't even my
her
gun.
reaction will be to believe you. She'll look down and
Okay.
see the king and Hans and Hugh exiting and say, "Follow me!" And you both will begin running down the stairs away from the balcony. But I get to react to what you've done.
Yeah.
And my brute squad fires on you both. So,
Yes.
please roll defense.
Okay. My defense is a panache. The panache defense is really interesting. I was reading it. I liked it. Basically, you could stare them down. You throw them off. You throw them off their game. So I think she looks directly at the person who is shooting and just with her eyes as if to say, what are you going to do? Shoot me? And she...
God, I wish I had a hero point right now.
Oh, wait. So I'm using... Sorry. Defense is my panache. And then I'm using...
Athletics
I don't know.
would work.
I don't have any athletic. Could I argue I'm using stealth because I'm using someone as a human shield?
Does that sound stealthy? You know what you can use? Your empathy again, because you're using someone as a human shield.
Okay. I'm into that. And then -1, so that's gonna be 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Oh yes, 3 successes.
Okay, 3 successes. They open fire, and Capitan Elena Alvarado jumps in front of the bullet and takes it for you and goes toppling off of the staircase.
Oh no! Oh no! We had no idea this was going to happen. No!
Hans, we're almost to the end of our playtest. I'm going to allow Hans and Hugh to have one more action, and then we will reach the end of our playtest. I'll just say that, I mean, this could keep going on and on. Obviously, this is a really exciting entry scenario, but I just want to see kind of where we leave our heroes with getting the king out. So you have headed into the corridor as a bodyguard.
Just before we jump back into the narrative, I also want to say that we are going to stick around after the narrative here and do a talkback on our impressions. I mean, we've just played this live for the first time. So you'll get our initial first feedback and thoughts on it. With this, admittedly small sample size that we have,
right?
But we could talk about what we felt worked, what didn't, questions we have, etc. So stick around for that after we wrap up this part of the story.
Excellent. Okay, so Hans, you're running with Hugh, the king, and the queen through these corridors, trying to get to the library, and this brute squad is right behind you. So, maybe you'll have a third thing in mind, but the 2 things I can think of is for you to stop and fight them to kind of get them off the king's tail, or use a skill roll of some sort to get everybody to move faster and get away from them. Or maybe you've thought of a third thing. What do you think?
So, as a soldier, once per game, I may choose a power, and I don't need a hero point for this, called Hold Your Line. So you choose a semi-enclosed area, doorway, corridor, stairs. As long as you don't move, and until the end of the scene, no enemy can pass through that area without first going through and facing you. So I send Hugh and the king, and I hold the line.
Wow.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
This brute squad runs into the corridor, and you've set yourself up perfectly to where they kind of have to handle you one at a time, and you're just like holding the line. I will say you can do that and attack if you'd like, or you can just kind of hold the line for right now and we can move on. What would you like to do?
Let me make an attack roll, please.
Make an attack. Do it.
All right. So that's melee and brawn is what I picked.
Great.
To attack. So I do get one success.
One success is not enough. Would you like to force fate? I currently have 4 villainy points. Okay, what's your damage?
My damage is with finesse, so that would be 2 dice. Right?
Yes,
Correct.
But you used your incredible hold the line power, so I'm going to go ahead and make it 3 dice. You've done 3 damage to this brute squad.
Oh, and I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. With my dagger, I do gain 2 additional dice.
That's right.
Nice.
I apologize.
Because it's a
for forgetting
masterwork,
It's a
right?
It's a masterwork dagger.
So, could I retroactively apply that to the attack, or can we just apply it to the damage?
Apply it to the attack.
Okay. I didn't get any more success, so we'll just apply.
So
it
it
to the
is as we
damage
said. You forced fate.
Yeah.
I'm back up to 5 villainy points. You have done 3 damage because I thought your hold the line power should allow you to do that. And of course, the king, Yug, and the queen are not threatened because you have held this corridor. Yug, what are you going to do?
I've got an idea. So my idea is, as he's holding the line, and we disappear into a secret passage, I want to get out of sight, just out of sight, and all we need is a moment, a minute, right? Minute and a half, something like that. And Hugh wants to say, "Quickly, Your Majesty, your clothes, give them to me, give them to me." And he wants to dress as the king and then run out of the secret passage again in a different direction, drawing the attention toward him.
Wow.
Incredible. I think that all happens. I don't see why it wouldn't, because Hans has held the line for you, right? So he's bought you that minute, right? He's bought you that minute. So the king, before you take leave of him, puts his hand on your hand and gives you an address in the city, a simple townhouse to meet him at, and says, "Thank you. Our countries may be at war, but there is peace between you and I until we shuffle off this mortal coil." And he and the queen disappears into the passageway. Yug, you exit the secret passage, walk a little bit down the corridor, and then I spend a villainy point and a knife goes into your back. And you hear a voice say, "Die, Your Majesty!" And the hand of Diego Gonzalez pulls the knife out. And when you turn to face him, he says, "Montmarot!" And that's where we'll end our playtest.
Gotta play another sesh.
I know. I really want to keep playing.
This
More
is
magic I want to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is 7th Sea 3rd edition. The Kickstarter is on now. You can see it in the link below. And support this game because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, go back it, support them. They supported the stream because they wanted to get the word out there to our friends in the niche all about it. And so, yeah,
This was
click
really
on the link,
fun.
back the project.
So
fun.
And if you are hearing this a year from now or way down the line, you know, I'm
Go
sure
buy
that
the
there
game.
will be additional
Yeah.
opportunities to back or to buy the game exactly. And just again, we'll talk about this. We're going to do a quick talk back, but the rules are in the midst of being developed right now. So we're seeing one version of the game, and it's going to keep developing with the input from the community all along the way. And so I really appreciate Studio Agate's work on this. I think it's awesome. Anyway,
Yes.
Thank you, Jared. That was great
really fun.
introduction.
So
you guys were
fun.
fantastic. That was so fun.
It was great.
Thank you, Jared.
So yeah, that's I think normally where we would kind of end a game, right? We just like, we'll end it. But this was actually Studio Agate's idea. I thought it was a great idea. We were talking about how best to showcase a playtest, and they were like, we'd love to hear honest feedback from the players. And I was like, do you want them to like send you an email? Or like, they were like, no, we want it to be recorded and shared with everybody, because whether they like it or not, it's important for us to know what worked and didn't work in the form of a one shot. And I was like, that's a great idea. Let's do it. Let's spend a little bit more time together talking about stuff that I think a lot of times we would end up talking about off air, and actually record it. So I will just kick it off with I think I want to kick it off with Jared.
Yeah.
You read the most into this.
Yeah.
You've had some 7C experience before.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your first impressions as the GM coming to this particular one shot?
I really like these rules. I think that this is a perfect game if you like games with combat, but you don't want to get into minis, maps, all that other stuff that sometimes comes with combat. I think this is a really great theater of the mind game that can involve combat. I think the hero points and the villainy points and all that are very fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
Jared, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you've mentioned in the past, and I could be completely wrong about this and thinking about something else. I thought that there was a system we played years ago that had sort of the GM gets points to turn in to do bad things that you didn't like. Is that ringing a bell at all?
Well, look, I run my mouth off about systems all the time. And And, opinions do change sometimes, but I will point you to the fact that this game specifically addresses that concern. And that concern that you're talking about, Joe, is, there are games that have basically a currency for the GM to make bad things happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was very skeptical of that kind of subsystem, because I'm like, can't the GM just make any bad thing happen at any time that he wants to?
Mm-hmm.
This game, even in this little kind of introduction booklet, it addresses that. And I'm going to see if I can find it here.
I know what you're talking about. It says, why is there villainy points are not there to rein in the game master or limit their authority. 7th C remains a traditional game, and the GM is free to run the session as they wish, bringing in brutes, staging villains, deciding how the NPCs react, setting difficulties as they see fit. Villainy doesn't replace that authority. It complements it by offering a clearly identified dramatic currency. And then it goes on to explain how it's really the karma of the players and the player choices to give the GM villain points that it makes it a player thing, really, more than a GM thing, which I think
I really like Force Fate. The fact that you can just go, I succeed, but I give you a way to screw me later. Mm-hmm.
And then when that comes up, the difference I think is when the GM said, when you say another wave of, or no, it is the worst possible guard you could have come up to, right?
Right.
Like, when you say I spend a villainy point, I think it's deep and interesting because you could have done that anyway, and all the players know that.
Right.
But when you say I spend a villainy point, the player thinks, I did that.
It's a consequence of my actions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because of
Yes.
something awesome that happened to me earlier, I set up that karma. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, and I really, maybe I just feel differently about that whole idea now. But at any rate, it seemed to work pretty well today. So I'm behind it. I like it.
Let me turn it to you, Jason. You played a chunk of 2nd edition on stream or on air, I think, back with Geek and Sundry, right?
On my old show starter kit, one of our seasons was on 7th C, 2nd edition. And I really like the rule changes. One of the things that I thought might be more impactful, but I also don't know how the leveling system works and how many more skills you can add as you level up. But for example, would you call something favored if it had that dot before your skill?
It's called a specialty.
Specialty. Okay. So for the specialty, if you have a specialty, if you roll a 10, your dice explode. I would love it if you rolled a 9 or a 10. I want to, because that's only 10%. I want to make it, if you're special, if you have a specialty at something, I would love for it to be even more, more powerful, but that can apply to the enemies too. Just because of the fantastical nature and storytelling embellishments of this game, I'd love to see that. But that would
like
be my
highs
only.
higher.
That's a cool note. That's a cool note. I think having a way to expand the range of explosions sounds really cool. I love explosions because they really do feel like fate, especially when like you got 2 in a row in the session and it feels like this was a success beyond our wildest dreams.
Yeah.
That being out there is cool. You do have to limit it, but it also, like, I feel like you're right. It feels like it's probably not going to happen that often. It did happen to you, but with only a 10, it doesn't feel like it's going to happen much. Also interesting that it always seems to coincide. For me, it's a 3 pip skill, intrigues. For me, I never rolled it, but it is my proficiency. I don't know what it is for everybody else. It seems like your proficiency is always going to be tied in with what you have a lot of pips in, which has a lower keep threshold, which doesn't need explosions as much.
Yeah.
I guess it's what creates more hero points.
Well,
It's not
Manuela
for
has
me.
a specialty and a 1-dot skill.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Okay, so
okay,
sometimes the specialty
One of
that
them.
makes sense in a 1-dot skill. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, so Mary Lou, what was your takeaways, your thoughts, anything that jumped out at you?
I think the dice system is really, really cool. I think being able to assign your combat aptitudes before a scenario or before a session is really, really interesting. It takes a sort of like classic dice pool system that I think is very intuitive, very easy to understand. I roll a trait, I roll a skill, and then sort of gives it a cool twist, right?
It's one little spin
Just
that
one
makes
tiny
it
spin.
totally different.
Totally different.
Like,
very, very cool. I really like that. What I found, and I noticed like a lot of us getting confused with the terminology of the combat aptitudes. So I wonder if there's a way to like, even just on the character sheet, to tie combat aptitudes closer to the traits or call them combat traits, right? Because it's like your traits, it's just during combat. Or like maybe you
so
have.
I know exactly what you're saying, and it clicked for me late in the game, which when Jared asked me to roll movement.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what is movement? I know I signed finesse to it.
Yeah.
I did that on purpose. But then I was thinking, wait, so anytime I'm doing something that's not attacking or defending, it's movement. So then I'm just rolling finesse? No. But then I realized you're always rolling a skill.
Yes.
In addition to the movement. So essentially the word movement just replaces the word finesse, in combat, in that trait, for the use of that trait.
Yeah.
And so I love your idea that even just putting it on the same line in the character sheet would help to make that a little bit
Except that it changes constantly, as Mary Lou said. Another time you could choose brawn as your movement skill.
No, 100%. She just means she's just saying in the same area of the character sheet. Right now it's in a completely
so they're right
different
beside
place.
each other, right? The traits and the
even-
combat aptitudes.
Or
even on top of each other, so that, like you're saying, Jared, you don't want it always next to each other because it might confuse.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe even under combat aptitudes, if you called it combat traits or something like that, instead of just a line that you fill in next to attack where you just like would write in whatever trait you chose, what if it was like a row of check boxes?
Yeah.
So of all of the
with
different
all of
traits,
them.
and you could erase
That's
it
a
or check it and be
that's
like,
smart.
in this
Yeah.
game, I'm
check
clicking brawn. And you can clearly see I only have one of each, right? And I've assigned
Yeah, that's
it.
a great idea.
But then it also reminds you like why and what you're rolling. But it's easy to change. That I think would be really helpful because I kept having to like go through that brain process of like, okay, it's combat, so I'm rolling a skill and my other right. And even though I understand it, like I get it, I know it, it makes perfect sense. Just it took me
a minute,
a second of extra thinking time that I don't want to spend. And then
and then let me just add on to that it says in the quick start, we suggest that you assign these combat attributes, and that's what it is for the scenario. Yeah. But, you know, as you get more and more familiar with the game, we kind of encourage you to change them between every encounter in combat as you feel the vibe changing of where you want to assign traits to a certain situation. Really cool.
Mm-hmm. And it says, you know, that might add like time to a combat, make it go a little slower. I mean, not if you're playing with great players who know to hurry the hell up, but also I would be okay with someone deciding on the fly, as long as it's stuck for the rest of the combat, when they come to finally using a movement going, oh, let's see, I have brawn and panache left. I'll go panache. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to sit and make the whole list at the beginning of the combat. They can kind of just do it as they go so that you can
That's
keep
a cool
moving.
Idea. Sid, any impressions? And Mary Lou, I think you have other thoughts. We'll come back to it. I just want to get everybody in once. Yeah.
Yeah. I really, really wanted to play this pre-gen Veronica Cardinal because of the magic. I just thought the Sorte Strega was so cool, and the tarot deck idea. Like, I love when games ask you to use like playing cards to make this and do this. Okay. Tarot deck is so fun. Love that. I think it was a little confusing when we first looked at it because there's nothing about the Sorte Strega in the like combat aptitude section. There's nothing about like how magic would be used in an action sequence in that quick start guide. At the end of the quick start guide is sort of like the whole page about magic, but it doesn't really explain like, do you cast magic in an action sequence on your turn? Is it something that you can just kind of like do when you want to do it? And Jared and I talked about it, and we were sort of like, it feels like it would be an action on your turn. And I realized I did mess something up. There is something we didn't do, which before I use one of the tarot cards that I pull at the beginning of a session, I have to read the threads of fate. I was wondering why I wasn't rolling for anything. So first you have to choose how many targets, which sets a difficulty, and I roll my wits plus sorcery to determine if I succeed, and then I can use the minor arcana or the major arcana, which is, I guess it makes sense, but
at the beginning
feel
of
like,
the session? Or for
no,
every action?
On my turn, yeah, for
I see.
like determining who I cast magic on.
I see.
So I guess that's saying that that's how you take your turn. That's how you use spellcasting in combat. Is you have to
No, it says at any time, at any time and for free. The Sorte Strega may read the threads
that
of
is
fate.
confusing. Yeah, okay.
But then Minor Arcana lets the Strega optimize the information gained from reading to grant the bonuses. And they can be triggered at the cost of 1 hero point. So it still doesn't really say like on my turn or anything, but I'm assuming that is what that means during an action sequence. So that's
I know you liked using the tarot deck.
Yes.
Did you
100%.
like your first, beyond just the tarot deck, like your first sort of experience of the overall magic system?
Yes, I
do.
do,
Like
but I'm curious. I see now, like if I had been rolling my sorcery has 3 pips and it has my my triangle. What's that called? Not advantage. Proficiency. It has my proficiency. So I wasn't really getting a lot of hero points because I'm not skilled at like the athletics and the melee and the aim and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was like, man, I don't really have a lot of hero points to do my major arcana stuff right now because there wasn't an opportunity for me to do my persuasion and like empathy and talk to people, which is what I'm really good at. But I think if I was rolling my sorcery and my wits to do my arcana magics, I would have probably gotten some hero points for that. So it felt like it was a little dry where I was like, okay, I did my 1 major arcana. And that was my one hero point, and I don't have any more.
We also were a
so I
little
think-
rushed with a 2-hour session, and we
Totally.
had to do the opening reception, and you chose to go upstairs and do some investigating instead of socially things. I still don't quite understand everything here. I'm not reading that you have to read the threads of people before you cast spells on them. I'm not reading that. It's also telling me that when you read the threads of fate, you can tell the links between several people. Okay. Or a person's arcana. What is a
Which
person's arcana? What does that mean?
I don't understand. I think that would mean that it says like I can tell if they have magic, maybe like if they're Sorte Strega or another type of magic user.
But then it also says that you can't read information that concerns them directly or indirectly about Sorte Strega because they don't appear in the threads of fate. So then, how can you learn somebody's arcana? What does that mean?
The one thing is in the minor arcana section, it says reading with a capital R, which makes me think I have to do the reading to do the minor arcana.
Yeah. She can optimize the information gained from reading to grant bonuses.
So I would have then had to roll on Mary Lou to be able to give you that boon.
Okay.
Which maybe I would have gotten hero points for.
But that was a minor arcana. That was a minor arcana, Sid. You used a major arcana on her.
That's true.
On Manuela. So would you really have had to do that? Major arcana.
Oh, yeah. Major arcana, it just says they can be triggered at the cost of one hero point.
But no, here it says it. Here's where it says it. Manipulate the threads you perceive. So I hear you. Okay. So it does sound like you're supposed to kind of use your sorcery to read someone's threads, and then you can use the spells to augment them or curse them or whatever.
And I think
I don't love that.
That makes sense. It just could be way more clearly explained.
Why do you have to do all the prep? You should just be able to do stuff.
I don't know. It's kind of like an attack roll, like a magic attack roll.
Yeah, you should be able to fail at stuff, right?
Yeah. And here's what I will say. Because I didn't do it, I think that would have been a font of hero points potentially for me because my wits is a 3, my sorcery is a 3, and rolling, I might have gotten more successes and had more hero points. So I think
to fuel
it's there
your magic.
Yeah, I think it's there for a reason.
That's why it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got very lucky to accrue 5 so quickly.
Totally.
But that's sort of because we were in the crowd, dealing with all of that one after another.
And you got to do some badass stuff, both you and Mary Lou.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had that roll where you rolled 4. And so, I wonder if this is a system thing. So let me bring it to me in my situation with that. I feel like correct me. I mean, let's go back and review the tape. I think I rolled once. I think I rolled once. I may.
Well, I was also
possibly
leaning
rolled
heavily
twice.
into only roll when it really matters, or
100%.
Yeah.
So this is my question to the playtest. I loved it. I had a great time, and I loved that. If I had an idea and you were like, "That's a great idea,"
It works.
success. You don't get any hero points, right? And at one point, you said you could roll if you want, and I was like, "Why would I roll? I could. It's a success. Let's move the story along." But there is kind of that incentive there to roll and get hero points.
Not if, not if, Joe, not if the game master is just giving them out for cool stuff. So in fact, I shouldn't have just said, you don't need to roll. I should have said, like, what a great idea. Take a hero point. And in fact, at the very end, when you took the king's clothes, that's a hero point.
Yeah.
It's just such a fun, cool, smart idea. That should be a hero point.
But then going in with that, how little I rolled, it can feel a little bit long between turns and stuff like that. I felt like with the action reaction, but I like the action reaction as well because so much happens in one round.
Yeah.
So much so that when your turn comes up again, it's so different than it was before, which I think is very, very cool narratively. And it can just
you got to pay attention. You can't plan your attack.
You can't plan your turn. You have to know what everybody else has done, and then something new is going to be facing you almost certainly by the time your turn comes up. And also, I love the action reaction system. I've never seen anything quite like that, where you know how sometimes you do something to an enemy in a traditional D20 initiative-based 6-second round. You do something to an enemy, but that enemy's turn doesn't come up for like 17 minutes of real game time. And then you don't quite remember exactly. And they're like, oh yeah, you punched him in the face. So now he punches you back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That rhythm gets off, man. This keeps that rhythm
feels more
right
cinematic.
with what's happening.
Yeah.
It does.
It does, and
kind of naturally.
for some reason, it feels like it handles people being in different areas better, you know, because you're like, it's almost like a movie. You would show the exchange over here, then you show the exchange over here. Yeah.
Very cinematic.
And let me kick it to Jason again. Jason, you talk to me real quick about the setting, because before we were recording, you were raving about what you like about the setting. I'd just like to highlight that for people.
The thing I love about the setting, and they kept this, I think, I never played first edition, but what I loved about the second edition setting, which is very similar to the third edition setting, or maybe the same, is that it's our planet historically, but, you know, changed enough to where we feel like we can identify with each one of the nations, with each one of the areas, but there's no, you don't know what's going to happen. So it's like freedom in an alternate Earth, you know, freedom in a historical alternate universe of Earth. And I love that because there's the
you're not starting from zero.
Yeah, you're not.
You can play a historical game, but you don't have to know about history.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like it's kind of like being fluent in a language, but we don't need to know what the conversation's going to be. Right? Like,
yes.
Right.
I feel this way about, I brought up the Daughters War earlier and Black Tongue Thief. And I feel the same way about his world. It's so very clearly inspired by our world's cultures and countries and languages. And I actually find that incredibly creative because all fantasy is derivative, right? Like it's impossible not to be. But when you have like this shared language of like, oh, I can see that this is fantasy France and this is fantasy Spain. And so I can kind of fill in all the details and it feels natural. That way, when you get the cool fantasy elements like, oh, but fantasy Spain has war corvids and this fantasy Spain has evil Vatican Church, you know, it pops and makes it really special.
It also feels like a really safe space to play in, whereas I feel like sometimes historically correct games are like, no, stupid, like that's not how it happens.
That's not how it
You're not allowed.
You're not
allowed to say that.
Or let's just say the captain of the guard being a woman, you know,
Totally.
like in real Spain in the 1500s,
right?
Wouldn't
it
be happening.
different. It would be different, and
you
not
don't
as
even
fun.
like look. You don't even look twice at it now, and it's fun and different and interesting.
Because it's fantasy,
But
you know.
But if you do know a lot about that stuff, if it's something you're very interested in, like historical fiction or whatever, that kind of,
you can
play in that playground. You can bring in elements of that. You know,
tell me about
it's
the
more
costumes.
Like you can and so much, and there's
Yeah.
really nothing that you say no to. It's really fun.
I love that.
It feels
really
more like a
fun to
playground. That's
explore.
a good word. It's very fun.
Yeah.
So we recommend
Mary Lou,
it.
anything else? Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Mary.
I really liked it. There was one tiny thing that I realized that I had been doing, a misunderstanding I made the entire game that I think would have changed things for me. Under your advantages, do you see how each advantage is marked by a symbol? I had been kind of wondering like, why are those symbols different? There's a infinity symbol, a die, a coin, and a star. And I was like, I wonder what the difference is, but I didn't check it. It turns out that I thought all advantages had to be activated with a hero point, but only the one with the coins are activated with a hero point. So that was my misunderstanding. Right. And there was a time that I would have used one of my advantages, but didn't because I had already spent my hero point and didn't think that I could. So I know that was me not reading clearly enough. But I think
I made the same mistake though. So I think
that could be more clearly explained.
And the infinity symbol is a passive one that is always happening forever on your character sheet. So it does say it at the beginning of the rules, but it doesn't say it on the character sheet itself. So it's easy to forget.
Maybe even just right by the name advantages, having an explanation of those symbols. right? Like
a quick shorthand of those
very
symbols.
quick.
Yeah.
Be great.
I don't know.
Yeah.
For dummies like me,
Especially if you're picking
That's a
up
cool idea,
especially
yeah.
if you're picking up a one shot with friends, like they don't know. They haven't played the game before.
right.
That's a good idea.
And you probably explained it when we were talking about the game, but I was making a coffee or I was, picking out my dice and like not listening.
As happens.
So yeah,
Looking at my dice.
just something for people like me.
My last thought on the way out, a big like from me, equipment as style.
So fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I
Yes.
think that like you can love equipment, and if you want to get into it, you can.
Yeah.
If you want to say, "Oh, I'm not interested if it doesn't have mechanical advantages," you can look into just
a
like
masterwork,
Hans had,
yeah.
spending an advantage on weaponry and armor. You can do that. It's just in place of other talents, which is very cool. It's like equipment as feats
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
I love that. And if it's something you're not interested in, but you just want to like have flair, have whatever weapon you want or whatever clothes you want or how the armor works, you can just say it. You know what I mean? And it's part of that world. I think it fits really well with the cinematic and dramatic
Agreed.
vibe.
And one
that
last
you're
thought
trying to
too.
set.
So quickly before I go, I want to reiterate how much I loved the tarot magic as the magic
Super
within
cool.
the game. Give more. If it was missing like the Pope or other symbols in the
Right.
tarot deck, add more. I love a table. I want more magic. If that is how it's meant to be and your tarot deck is different, totally fine. But if somebody is using a separate tarot deck from the 7th Sea tarot deck,
Yeah.
consider maybe adding more of the cards if you're missing any, because I love them.
Agreed.
Great.
Well, I want to play again.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Let's do it.
Actually,
Yeah.
I want to play another sesh. It was
I've
really
got all
fun.
my D10s ready. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
That was great. Thank you again to Studio Agate for sponsoring the one shot. Their Kickstarter is already funded. So congratulations to them. I hope that it skyrockets. If you want to support them, the link's in the description. One last time, go ahead and back it and get yourself a copy. And thank you, Jared, for running it.
My pleasure.
Jason,
Thank
thanks
you,
for
Jared.
coming by. Cindy, thank you so
you.
much for playing with us. And Mary Lou, your time is always so precious to us that we get to play together. It's awesome. So thanks, everybody. And we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
The 7 Seas of Rye.
Those then what was our name? Los
Vagabondos.
Los Vagabondos.
Los Vagabondos!